Yo, what's good, y'all? If this is your first time on the channel, this is a series where I scour Amazon for cheap filmmaking gear, test it out, and let you know if you should be buying it. Now with these videos, I tend to give away all the gear for free, but in this video, I'm only be giving away one thing because I think I'm gonna keep these other things because I like them so freaking much. But if you want an opportunity to win this Ulanzi VL120 by lighting fixture, all you gotta do is head down to the comment section below and drop me a comment about anything, but just make sure you include your Instagram handle. So in a week or two, when I go through and randomly choose a comment, I can reach out to you on Instagram, get your address, and get this sent out to you. But let's hop straight into it, man. Let's do it. This is the close-up series by Neewer. Neewer? I always feel so freaking weird saying the name of this brand. They come in this carrying case. This is a 4 set of lens filters and they allow you to reduce your minimum focus and distance on your lens. These come in 4 different zoom strengths. You got +1, +2, +4, and +10. Now there are other budget products on the market that essentially achieve the exact same effect as these. The reason why I went with glass filters that go on the end of your lens is because diopters have been inside of filmmaking for decades and they prove tried and truth. Like professionals actually do use these. Probably not this great for 50 bucks, but we're gonna see what the good and the bad is about this filter set. One thing I'm really interested to see with these filters is if the autofocus still works. Like that would be actually really insane if the autofocus read what was happening. Yeah, autofocus does not work. That's confirmed. I like these diopters a lot. I've been using them for little random shots throughout this video, and I've just been learning different nuances about them, where I need to place the lens in order to be able to capture focus, what's possible and what's impossible. Let me talk about the pros of these diopters. The first pro has to be the price. This right here is way cheaper than you going out and buying a lens specifically for macro shots, especially if you don't always film macro shots like me. Like, I loved my old macro lens, but I just saved myself like $700 buying these lens filters. The second pro about these lens filters is that they work as advertised. You can get a closer minimum focus distance on your lens to be able to capture closer shots. And I like it. These work on zoom lenses. My 24-70 is the only lens that I use these filters for. So even at 70 millimeters or at 24 millimeters, you can use these and get the close-up focus macro effect that you're looking for. When I initially bought these lens filters, I thought I was gonna be more interested in getting typical macro shots. You know, like think 100 millimeter zoomed in shots. You're focused on something that's very small, but it makes it very big in the frame and it's focused. The shots that I really enjoy getting with these lens filters are the wider shots where you're focused on something that's very close to the lens and it has like a very shallow fall off. Like think about like, it's focused on my finger, but you still have this exact same focal length where it's super wide, but it's, I don't know. I like these shots a lot more than the macro shots. I feel like they're so unique and it isn't something that you typically see. Another thing that I noticed while using these lens filters that I liked a lot was these give you a little bit of additional zoom on your lenses. So if you were using these on a prime lens, like a 20 millimeter, you will be able to get a little bit more zoom on your shots. I think that that's cool. I think that's a really dope trade-off and it gives you a cool perspective when you do it. Now with all the things that I loved about these and me talking so highly of them, what's the con, what's the negative in it? Because you putting a $60 piece of glass in front of a $2,000 lens or even any lens for that matter has to have some cons, right? Well, yeah, but this con right here, I wouldn't even necessarily declare it as a con because I low-key like the way it looks. Earlier, I told you that these lens filters come in different strengths, right? You got +1, +2, +4, and +10. The higher you get on the pluses, I don't know what to declare these as. The higher you get on the zooms, the more like character gets introduced into the shot. Like the +10, for instance, you tend to see a lot of effects going on around the focused area of the shot. Now, this could be a con for somebody who's looking for a perfectly clean image, and this is where you would definitely want a macro lens or even a probe lens. But for me, I think that it adds a stylistic flair to your shots. I'm not gonna lie, I like it. I noticed that when I used the +10, I was getting flares coming out of nowhere. It was a lot of like chromatic aberration or like RGB splitting where you see like red and blue shifts on the edges of the image. I thought it looked dope though. I feel like it adds a really cool character to your shots and it's something that you wouldn't want to use all the time, but if you wanted to introduce something that's stylized into your shots, I think that is fire. So you can declare this as a negative, but I low-key think it adds to the characteristics of the filter. All in all, I think these are amazing, man. If you're looking to get some macro shots and you don't have a macro lens, definitely pick up a set of these. The next item I picked up I'm actually using right now, and this is the Ulanzi VL120 bi-lighting fixture. Man, this lighting fixture is very, very controversial and interesting. I figured out something about it that was like an instant no-go when I took it out of the box, but I can't deny the fact that I actually like this lighting fixture a lot. And I just got to explain it to you so it makes sense. But straight out of the gate, this is a cob lighting fixture that is bicolor, so you can adjust the CCT values between this range. I'm not even necessarily sure what it is, but I'll put it up on the screen. It has an integrated Bowens mount, which is amazing. You can use all types of different modifiers with it. It has lighting effects if you're into that. It can be powered externally with V-Lock batteries, and it has an app that actually works. Now, with all that said, this is how I use this light over the past couple of days. Last night, it was freezing cold, but I did want to take it out and try to get a cinematic setup, something that wasn't too much, something that didn't require me to have multiple lights. I was looking to get a motivated lighting setup for this look. So if we look at the frame, you can see off to this side of it, you have this light that's already in the scene. I basically wanted to amplify that light using the Ulanzi VL120 bi-lighting fixture. One of the best things that this light has going for it is that it has that Bowens mount integrated into it. On it, I have the Aperture Light Dome Mark III just to make the quality of light softer. Overall, I like the way that this lighting setup came out. Now, this is a super simple setup, I'm not gonna lie to you, but most of the time, this is how I use lights like this. If I'm gonna be filming myself, I'm probably not gonna have a 5-light setup. And if you are looking to buy a light like this, you're probably looking to buy a light like this because you actually can't afford a more expensive fixture. And with this light coming in at this price, what are the pros and cons of it? I've already said it, but one of the best things that this light has going for it is that it has that Bowens mount. This is gonna unlock so many different applications for you because you could put on any modifier that you need. If you need a light dome, you can use that. If you need a spotlight mount, you can use that. If you need a lantern, you can use that. If you need a Fresnel, you can use that. It's endless possibilities and things that you can do with this lighting fixture. The second pro about this light is that it has an app. It's not a complex app. And honestly, for me personally, I know I'm in the minority here. I don't need my app to do 80 different things. I just need it to be able to adjust the intensity and to be able to adjust the lighting temperature. And if I'm doing music video stuff, I need it to be able to adjust the effect. And this app can do all of these things. It's not complex. You turn the app on, you turn on your Bluetooth, it connects directly to the light. And from here on out, every time you open that app, it's gonna instantly connect to the light. You don't have to go through the process of reconnecting it. It's simple, it works, that's all I need. Another thing that's really good about this light, and I feel separates it from some of the other options in the price range that give you the exact same output, like the Amaran 100D or even the Amaran 150C or 300C. This has V-Lock capabilities. I love those lights and I'm using them in the studio every single time I film it here. I got a 300C right here. I got a 100D right here. These are amazing lights, don't get me wrong, but I can get portable with these lights because they don't have the capability to be able to use V-Lock. I love the fact that this light has a V-Lock plate on the back of it. You can get wireless, you can take this anywhere, get cinematic setups and do everything that you need to do with it. I think that this is also one of the best things that this light has going for it. And another really great thing about this light is it's bicolor. This means you can match lighting temperatures while you're out. You can't do green and magenta shift, which I found I needed last night because this light in the scene was very green, but just regular bicolor, I can get away with it, all right? If it's just daylight or if it's just tungsten, then it's a problem. I love the fact that this is bicolor and I can go through those different CCT ranges if I need to. Now, what's wrong with the light? I got so many pros. This has to be the biggest con about the light. And I tripped out once I found this out because I thought I was tripping. I thought I was doing I thought I was tweaking out because when I took this out the box and I went to set it up, I'm like, yo, what is happening? This light apparently does not come with a power cable. And I know what you think when you hear that, what the type of, what is that about? Yeah, apparently this light doesn't come with a power cable. I went to the listing on Amazon and I saw you know how on Amazon it shows you the things people frequently buy together? This light had a power cable next to it. So apparently it just doesn't come with one, which I think is weird. I liked using it while I've had it because I have V-Lock batteries, but if you don't have V-Lock batteries, you gotta keep that in mind that you do gotta buy a power cable. And even if you do got V-Lock batteries, you probably still want to buy one because you don't always have to worry if a V-Lock battery is charged for you to be able to use this light. So that right there is going to drive the price up a little bit. So you got to keep that in mind. But even at that price hike, I do still think low key, this might be a more beneficial option for the people who want to get wireless with their lighting because like I said, these Amaran options, they don't give you the option to use the V-Lock battery. Another thing that this light does not come with is the flood attachment. Whenever you buy Cobb lighting fixtures, typically they at least come with a floodlight attachment, but this one doesn't. And another thing that this light does not come with is a travel case of any kind. So if you buy this light, you gotta keep in mind that you're gonna have to figure out how to transport it. Now this light is very, very small. If you take off the freaking the mount for it, you can stuff this into a camera bag, to be completely honest with you. So that's something to keep in mind. But with all of that said, man, I like the light. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, if you can give me app control, you can give me bicolor functionality, you can give me a Bowens mount, I can get busy with a light, bro. Like, I can move around and do all the things that I need to do. I can put a softbox on it to be able to get talking head shots like this one right here. I'm actually using it, I said that earlier, so keep that in mind. Throughout this whole video, you're looking at an example of what this light looks like. And I also use this light throughout pretty much all of the other macro shots throughout the video as well. So this light is cool, man. It works. If you're interested in it, I'm gonna leave links down in the description for some softbox options as well. You don't have to get aperture. You can get newer. It's a bunch of different other options on Amazon that are cheap, but still achieve the exact same effect. Before we get into the rest of these items, I gotta let you know about another filmmaking asset that is amazing and comes in at a great price. Throughout this video, you guys have been seeing these really cool animated titles and transitions, and I got these from the sponsor of today's video, Storyblocks. Storyblocks is an online library with over 1 million assets to help spice up your next video edit. Whether you need video transitions, you need motion titles, motion backgrounds, high quality stock footage, stock audio, or stock images, Storyblocks has you covered on all fronts. Storyblocks assets are compatible with all of the major editing platforms like Final Cut Pro 10, DaVinci Resolve, as well as Adobe Premiere Pro and Adobe After Effects. Storyblocks has subscriptions that fit whatever budget range you're in, but I highly recommend you check out the unlimited plan because you can download and use as many of these assets whenever you want for whatever you want for one affordable price. For anyone interested, there's gonna be links down in the description below. I highly recommend Storyblocks. Let's get back into these filmmaking items. This is the Mantis Pod 2.0, and at a glance, it doubles as just a tabletop tripod that's also a handle for vloggers to be able to film themselves in an easier way. But it also allows you to mount your camera in untraditional places, which helps the filmmaker process a lot. This is what the Mantis Pod looks like collapsed for you to be able to hold the camera out in front of you, but the legs swing out like so. It's kind of hard to do, I got these gloves on. So you can place it down on the table like that. This is as tall as it can get, but you can press this button right here on the side, and it allows you to go into more of a low profile stance. So if you want more stability on your camera, or you want to be able to just get a lower angle, this is really cool. This button right here on the side allows you to adjust the pivot of where your camera will be. This comes in a couple different versions that you can buy. They have a version that comes with the wireless remote. They have a version that comes with a ball head. I got the version without the remote, but with the ball head. And the thing that I don't necessarily like about this ball head is that it doesn't fit all Arca Swiss plates. It has its own specific plate that comes with it. And I don't like that because I like to switch between the different forms of stabilization that I have seamlessly. It does work with this plate that I do have, but it doesn't work with all Arca Swiss plates, so just keep that in mind. So what's so special about the Mantis Pod? You can essentially just go buy any tabletop tripod, right? Well, underneath one of the legs, you have this little contraption right here, and this allows you to mount your camera in so many different untraditional ways. I'm gonna just show you because it's not gonna make sense with me explaining it. If you wanna mount your camera to a side and get a cool top-down angle like this one, it's super simple to do. The way that this works is you got that little leg right there that I showed you, and that just cuffs around whatever you wanna cuff the camera to, and it allows you to mount it to really weird places like this. Y'all probably can't tell, but the camera's mounted to a fence right now. And if you wanted to do that, it's really easy to do with the Mantis Pod. Y'all can't tell this right now, but we mounted to a guardrail now. And if you want to do that, it's super simple to do with the Mantis Pod as well. When I saw the first iteration of the Mantis Pod on YouTube a couple of years ago, I thought the feature of pulling out, you know, that little stick on the leg and being able to mount it onto doors or fences or whatever, I thought that was a gimmick, but I'm a believer now. I gotta be completely honest with you. Me being a YouTuber and somebody who's vlogged for a really long time, I've used a ton of different options, like mini tripods, I've used switch pods, I've used gorilla pods, so many different things. I've been vlogging so many times in the past before, and I'll sit my camera down on a tabletop, on a tripod, and the weight from my lens will just tip the entire tripod over and make my camera tumble. This Mantis Pod is sturdy, and I gotta give them that. I think that that's one of the best things that is going for the Mantis Pod. Another thing I really like about the Mantis Pod is that it has that ability to go into the lower profile mode. It's other solutions out there like the Switch Pod, which is awesome, but I find that when I'm using the switch pod, it's just too tall. Sometimes I want to get lower. So the fact that I can go low and also high and still have that sturdiness is awesome. Vlogging with this thing was amazing though. I'm genuinely gonna use this. Like, I'm swapping out my mini Manfrotto tripod that I had. This is the one for me now. This last and final item, I really debated on putting it in here. I was supposed to have other items in this video, but they just didn't come through in time, and you know, sponsorships, deadlines, all that stuff like that. I just want to be consistent and I want these videos out. But this thing right here, I feel like I enjoy using it so much that I had to throw it in here. I just recently did a sponsored video on the Insta360 Flow 2 Pro. Now this portion of the video, me talking about this product, is not sponsored at all. This is unfiltered. This is like, these are my own opinions, bro. Like, unedited, whatever. I genuinely like this product. So if you don't know what the Flow 2 Pro is, it's really just a gimbal for your smartphone. Now you're probably thinking right now, the stabilization inside of smartphones is already so good. Why would I need a gimbal? And that was really me. Like, when I got this product in, I was like, I don't know if I need this, but the features of this gimbal genuinely, to me, make it worth it for the price and even carrying something else with you. For a person who films themselves, like me, for YouTube content, I'm sure you're probably a creator making content for YouTube or even Instagram. Everybody's making Instagram content, whether it's reels or photos, whatever. This thing will help you so freaking much because it can literally track you. You can set this up on a tripod and just film whatever you need. Just have it roll and it will follow you doing whatever you need it to do. Aside from that though, it's just a gimbal. Like, you gonna get smooth shots. You already know what it is. You already know what a gimbal does. What are the things that I like about it? One of the biggest things that I like about this gimbal is the size. I don't carry gimbals and I don't use gimbals because they're big, and setting them up is overwhelming. And majority of the time, I just don't feel like doing all that. This gimbal is extremely small. You just snap your phone onto it, flip it up, it turns itself on, you can get the filming really quick. And if it was big, I would not bring it with me at all. I also think the price of this is very reasonable. It's not an expensive addition to buying an iPhone. It's like another accessory that you can buy. And another really great thing about it is that it's not just specifically made for the current version of the iPhone. If you have an older iPhone, you can use it. If you upgrade next year, the year after that, or you even go to Samsung or whatever, you can still use this gimbal and you can still use its capabilities. So I feel like for the price, it's future-proof. It has great features. I just think it's an amazing buy. But that's that, man. Those are my cheap pieces of filmmaking gear that I have gotten from Amazon. Again, if you guys want an opportunity to win this Ulanzi VL120 bi lighting fixture, all you gotta do is head down to the comment section below and drop me a comment about anything, but make sure you include your Instagram handle. If I do randomly choose you in the comment section, I need a way to be able to reach out to you and get your address and get it sent out to you. If you're interested in story blocks at all, it's gonna be a link down in the description as well. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to drop it a like. Subscribe to the channel if you're new here, but with that being said, I'm out, y'all. Peace.